Hello and welcome to In Business Talks 2, a podcast about people who work together as a couple, learn the secrets of business partnerships, the benefits and pitfalls of working together, be it husband and wife, father and son, mother and daughter, friends, relatives or any other combinations of business partnerships. We're your hosts, Tracy and Ian Earle, founders of In Business, a networking and business support community. And together,
we are In Business. As well as speaking with other couples, we'll let you know of any useful business apps or websites out there that our members have come across and shared with us at our regular weekly online meetings. This week we're speaking to Charlotte and Kate, who are a newly formed business partnership of Blonde Brown Recruitment. And don't forget to check out our bonus episode, The Friday Fix. Without further ado, let's crack on with In Business Talks 2. Right, hello and welcome to In Business Talks 2. Today we have with us Charlotte Watson and Kate Chandan of Blonde Brown Recruitment. They're an independent recruitment agency.
Hi ladies, good to have you both with us today. Can we start by asking you, what is it you do?
We're independent recruiters, so we're a little bit different to your normal recruitment agency, if you like. We used to both work at large high street agencies. And anybody who's worked at a large high street agency will know there's lots of targets, lots of things that you have to do. Whereas it could be sales calls, it could be meetings. So we're a little bit different to that. We make our own rules and we break them along the way, if you like. But it just means that how we're different is we can choose how long we can spend with people and how long we can spend with our clients, with our candidates. So what we like to do is really, with our clients, really get into the culture of their companies and how they work, which actually enables us in the long run to place and match the right talent for their teams. Mm-hmm. So we work nationally, we work locally, and we recruit in lots of different areas because between Kate and I, we've got lots of different experience. So we work in business support, we work in the commercial sectors, we work in IT and technical roles, HR, finance, accountancy, and have I missed anything? Sales and marketing. Marketing. Yes. So that's what we do.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you've got a different approach, and it sounds like a more personal service, for people who are either looking for a job or looking for a candidate.
Definitely. Our candidates and our clients are just equal of importance, if you like. And yeah, we do offer very bespoke solutions to people. And it can be, a project where somebody's looking for 50 staff, or it can be, one person. And it's all as equal of importance, really.
I think what makes it a little bit different is the fact that we spend quite a bit of time getting to know the client. So really understanding their culture, what's important to them and what it's really like to work there, and really focusing on what they want from a candidate. So we can make sure we match the candidates to the clients and vice versa straight away, first time.
So whose idea was it then to go into business together? How did that come about? What happened? Was there a blinding flash of inspiration from someone, or what was it?
Well, it sort of happened during the summer, really. Kate and I have known each other just over 5 years now, and I was approached by a friend of mine who has her own recruitment business, and she was just inundated with work, and she said to me, I can't cope with it all, really. Could you help? So I said yes, of course, but I knew that with my other commitments, I wouldn't be able to give her the support that she needed. So I asked Kate to help me. And we worked on the project together for a couple of months, and then both sort of said, we've, really enjoyed it, and what about setting it together? So it was quite an organic kind of process, really, and
quite quick as well. It happened a lot quicker than we thought.
It did, because we kind of planned that we'd do it in April this year, and we actually went live on November the 1st last year. So we're in week 9 of our startup, which again has been so exciting, and it's just been brilliant, and lots of unexpected things have come our way that we never really had a thought about in the initial stages.
No, exactly. And we thought when we initially started talking about it, we did the project, like Charlotte said, really enjoyed it. and then thought, right, we'll give it a go on our own and see what happens, but we'll do it in April. And then sort of thought, what are we waiting for?
Yeah.
Why are we waiting for April? What's going to be different in April?
Yeah.
We'll just do it now. And it's been a little bit of a whirlwind. It's been absolutely brilliant.
Oh no, I admire that. I think, just get on with it, because what are you waiting for?
Yeah, sometimes you just have to jump straight in and do it, don't you? That's the thing. Yeah, you can procrastinate forever if you're not careful.
Well, we've both been doing our own businesses for quite a long time, really, and we both have a very similar mindset and just kind of crack on and get on with things. So it works well.
Mm-hmm. And do you think you would have, had you waited, you would have done anything different than you already have? If that makes sense.
Do you know what? No, I don't think we would have done anything differently. I'm just really glad we just got on with it rather than waiting. So that sometimes you do something that you've always wanted to do, and then you look back and think, why didn't I do this sooner? So yeah, I'm really glad but I don't think there's anything different that we would have done.
No, I don't either.
I think it's evolved a little bit differently to how we thought it might do. I think when we sort of started and started talking about it and started setting the business up, we thought that November and December would just be sort of like getting to grips with things, networking, getting to meet a few people, and then really sort of like start the real work in January. But it actually started straight away. So
which is good.
Great. Yeah, really good. Yeah, so it's been great. So things have just kicked off really quickly, which has been fantastic.
Yeah, so really exciting times for you, isn't it? It is. It's that lovely feeling when you just start a business. I think it is. Having started 2 businesses, I think it's. Don't look at me like that. Looking at me as though
this is my listening face. What's wrong?
Look at me as though say what you're talking about. Ignore him.
So I was listening, my love. I was listening. Right. So obviously, you're both working together. Do you have like different skill sets within what you do? I mean, how do you operate? Is one responsible for sales and marketing, one responsible for the operations? What is it? How do you divide the tasks or the roles up that you do?
Well, when we started out, we'll both have a different answer for this, by the way. When we first started out, we sort of started taking on vacancies, and we'd already discussed about, general stuff. I love social media and marketing and PR, so I tend to do that for our business. I really hate Excel spreadsheets, and Kate loves them. She loves an Excel spreadsheet. So that sort of came quite quickly, really. And then with regards to the other parts of the business, the roles, we would start and, Kate would say, well, I'll look after this, you look after that. And we quickly realised that, there were jobs that we both individually liked to work on and things that we didn't like to do. And luckily, it's worked out quite well with how what would you say?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think it's worked really well so far. And there are things that I'm naturally more experienced in, probably a little bit better at than you are, and vice versa. I mean, the one thing that we haven't had to do yet is the accounts, because that's the thing that I hate doing anyway. So we carry my head in the sand, because any form filling, anything like that, that's the thing we both sort of go, I don't want to do that. But yeah, no, I think it's worked. It's working really well, and we know where our strengths are. So, we're both working to our strengths, and I think as we grow and grow, that will just,
And I think we've both been very quick we're big believers in, time versus money. And if there's something, we've employed an accountant, so there won't be any form filling.
Because that's the thing we both said, we don't want to do that.
I was going to say that would probably be the first thing that you outsource, won't it?
And that's the thing. And it's employing people to do the things in a much faster and more efficient way than we would ever be able to do. And we need to be able to spend the time doing things that we're good at. And that's building connections with people and working with our clients and our candidates.
And what's the vision then for Blonde Brown?
Oh, it's funny you should say that, actually.
Well, do you know what? When we first started in the first few weeks of the business, we talked about various things. And then with different connections, we started to work with a company called Adventure, and it's a government company that supports startups. And we had our first meeting with a wonderful lady called Alice, and she asked us all these questions, and we both kind of looked at each other and thought, hadn't kind of thought of that this early on. And one of the things we've done this week is work on our 5-year plan. So we've got big plans in place, and we're looking at which point this year when we'll actually be employing people to join us in our business, taking on office space. We're looking at our sort of social media platforms at the moment and our website, and we know what we need to do to get the progression and to meet the forecast that we've kind of put into place.
Right.
Yeah, because often when you start a business, you're so engrossed in just starting it, you don't look that far ahead and you don't think down the line.
When we hadn't done that at all, it's sort of like, what's your vision? It's like, I haven't really thought about it. Which is good.
Well, I mean, we had our meeting with Alice week 1 in November, and she said to us, "What's your forecast for the first 12 months?" And that was when we both looked at each other and thought, "Well, we'll get back to you shortly with that."
Did you pluck a figure out the air and say, "This is what we want to do"?
And Alice actually asks us a lot of questions where we say, "We'll get back to you very shortly with that answer."
And it's good to have someone that's totally independent, that questions you in a way that makes you think about things and just totally subjective, so you can think, actually, I hadn't thought about that, because she's not related to the business in any way. It's thought-provoking. So,
they are useful to have these conversations with people who can take a step back from your business, aren't they, who aren't involved in it as such.
Yeah, and I think also to be involved with, whether it's Alice from Adventure or whether it's, within our networking groups, you're with people that have been in the same place that you're in now, and to be able to, have those ideas and gain different perspectives from different people is so important. And again, it's not something that we thought about doing from day one. It's those connections that we've both made along our careers that are now, bringing in things as to where we are now.
But I also think although we've got a vision and we've got a plan and we've got a forecast and we know where we're headed, I think the last 18 months, nearly 2 years, if it's taught us anything, it's like you've always got to be open to change. And at any point, anything can change. And that's absolutely all right. You've got to grow, adapt, and be flexible.
Yeah. I think that's the key, isn't it? That's flexibility.
So far with our clients and our candidates that we've been, meeting with so far, and lots of people we talk to with regards to candidates, over the last sort of at least 12 to 18 months have perhaps been made redundant, they've maybe been furloughed, they've maybe taken a role that they're not quite happy with, and in sort of the last 6 months they've reflected on that. So there's lots of different people around on the market at the moment, and it's funny because we were talking about CVs earlier, and one of the things that companies look for is people that aren't perhaps flighty, or they've had they've got a strong solid CV. But that's actually changed for a lot of people in the last 18 months. They may have taken on some contract work or, so I think everybody has to be, like Kate says, open to change and adapting.
And I think we're seeing that especially with the graduates as well, aren't we? The graduates that have come out in the last sort of like 2 years, there hasn't been that opportunity to get the experience in the role that they wanted to, because the opportunity just hasn't been there. So it's understanding that's absolutely all right, because we're in such a different time right now that's all right, and employers are a little bit more flexible when it comes to that.
Yeah, because people have just had to take what they can get, haven't they?
Absolutely.
Just to make ends meet, I suppose, at the end of the day.
And do you know what the funny thing is, though? Sometimes you speak to people, and there's almost an embarrassment of, oh, this happened, and maybe something that they hadn't planned had happened, but actually those things happening can make them a stronger person and actually more viable for certain jobs.
Yeah, life happens, doesn't
Absolutely,
it? And
life
you
happens.
have to. It's how you deal with it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think that's something else that we sort of pride ourselves on us when we receive CVs through from candidates for certain roles. It's making sure we speak to all of those candidates, because I know you've got your CV and that is your chance to sell yourself and get in front of people, but unless you speak to that person, you don't understand. You can't get that from a piece of paper.
No.
Like
No.
Charlotte said, you
No.
might have someone that's jumped around a little bit, but actually there's probably a really valid reason as to why that is. So we take the time to make sure we speak to everyone to get a real clear understanding on that person and what they're about, really, as well.
Yeah.
I wonder how many good people have been lost to businesses just because the CV hasn't been up to scratch, or it didn't portray who they were, or how they behaved, or anything. I mean, I've seen it over the years when I've been in business. We've had some we had CVs of people, and there'd be all the exam results and everything you could wish for, and
Technically
they
good on
look
paper.
brilliant. But when you employed them in the job, they were they had no common sense. They had no whatever that might take to do a job sometimes. But on the other hand, I've seen it where people have taken a chance on someone, thinking, well, they've not quite got 18 O levels or levels. God, I'm sure whatever they are now, GCSEs, and they've had sort of very few things, and yet they've gotten the job and they've been brilliant. They've been enthusiastic, they've been keen, they've been motivated, and all the things that you didn't get just from you didn't come through on the CV. So
that's what the beauty of using us is, that we can kind of really get that list down of people and get you some really key people that are right for you in your community and your business.
And I think what an interesting thing that you've just said, Ian, about how many companies miss out on people, and some of the larger companies at the moment, use a portal is a really common thing, and the amount of people that I speak to, that we've spoken to, who have said, "Oh, well, I did apply for that, but never heard anything." There won't be an expert recruiter on the end of that portal seeing they are missing people. That's for certain at the moment, and that's a massive shame.
It is. It is. Yeah, it is.
And I mean, we know you haven't been together as a business partnership for very long, but so far, how's it going? Are you agreeing on everything? Do you envisage that, there's a chance that you won't agree on everything?
If you do disagree, how do you handle it? Well,
no, they probably haven't disagreed as yet.
Well, I'm assuming they have, you see. All right, yeah.
Oh, is that because we did?
Kate and I have known each other for just over 5 years, and we are both Geminis. Kate's birthday is the 11th of June, and my birthday is the 12th of June. So we are very, very similar in how we are and how we work. And I'm sure there have been times in the last 2 months where we've discussed things, and we're both good at listening to each other and coming to a decision with each other. What would you say?
Yeah, I think when there's only two of you involved in the business, whatever it is, the decision, you've both got to agree, because there is no third person to be like, well, it's two against one, that's a vote, and we'll do that. But I think there have been not challenges, but there's been things that, like, Charlotte might have come up with an idea about something, and I thought, actually, I'm not so sure about that, and vice versa. And like Charlotte said, we just keep it open and be like, well, actually, I don't think because of X, Y, Z that's the right time, or whatever else. It's like, right, that's fine, and we just move forward on it. So I can't see it ever being a cause for concern, because we're just very open and honest, and just put our points across, but also listen to each other as well. And we both want the same thing at the end of the day, our big play, and we both want the same goals. So yeah, it's just finding different ways of getting there.
And do you think that being in business together is going to strengthen that relationship or change it in any way, shape or form?
Yeah, you've known each other for 5 years, but now you're working perhaps more closely together than maybe you have in the past.
I think it's definitely strengthened.
Yeah, it's just brought us closer.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I don't, I just think that will only grow with time as well. Definitely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right, I'm going to ask something now, and I'm going to ask you individually. Okay. So I know you've only been together. Well, you've been working together a while, probably. So you know each other quite well, obviously.
It's like a Mr. and Mrs.
Yeah.
So, Charlotte, my question is, and you'll get a chance to answer Kate in a second, your version. What's the worst thing or the worst habit that you believe Kate has in business? What is it that annoys you about Kate when working together? Is there anything that niggles you?
We don't want any falling
No,
out.
don't fall out. I'm not
At this point, so I can't know what you're saying.
It's not a niggle, and it doesn't really irritate me, but I know her very well. So if I say to Kate, could you do blah? And she said, yeah, that's fine. I'll also message her with the same request.
Probably about 3 times. And then,
and then I'll say, have you done that? Oh, I'm just going to do it now. It's fine, it always gets done.
But that's fine because we know each other well and she knows she has to do that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she could leave it, couldn't she? And just, 3 months later say, have you done that? And
Well, I also know that she knows that. So I'll only do it on the 4th time she asks me. So I know she'll
Yeah. And so the same question to you, Kate. Does Charlotte have any little annoying habits that she does in the work?
Not really an annoying habit, but we are on totally different time zones. So I'm up at 5 a.m, in bed at 9:30. Charlotte's up at 9 a.m, bed till midnight. So in the morning I'm raring to go, and it just takes Charlotte a little bit longer to come round because I've been up for a long time.
But when I'm doing our social media at 11 o'clock at night, she's been asleep for 2 hours.
Basically, by using her, you basically get 24-hour around the clock. But I wouldn't.
That's
right. So yeah.
Sounds like a cracking service you're offering there, ladies.
You probably just work together about 2 hours in the middle. Is that right?
Yeah, I haven't decided what my golden hour is yet.
No, you've not decided.
No.
What do you think is the best thing about being in business together?
Oh, the fun, the humour, having, it's responsibilities. It's not, it's not having to worry as much, I think. And you've got that other person there to, bounce the ideas off. What do you think of this? I think if we'd both gone alone, we'd both be in very different places right now. It's the old thing, better together. And, we don't have our office space at the moment, but we usually work together at least 2 or 3 days a week. We're home-based at the moment, so I come over to Kate's or Kate comes over to mine, and then we might have other meetings where we'll, meet as well during the week. So the best thing for me is definitely having Kate by my side.
And I think, although there's 2 of us, so we can make decisions really quickly as well, and we can react really quickly. If we were in a bigger corporate environment, you wouldn't be able to do that. You'd have meetings about a meeting, about another meeting, and about 3 months later.
You can just really decide, can't you?
And make decisions really quickly. And as cheesy as it sounds, it doesn't feel like work.
No, it's fun. It's more fun, isn't it?
Fun,
Yeah, it's enjoyable, isn't it?
We were in charge of what we want to do, and we can go which way we want to go.
Most people think going into business is taking a risk, but you don't seem to have that attitude. It doesn't seem like you're thinking, oh, this is a bit risky, because you've got Kate by your side.
Yes, but I also think it's Kate and I do a lot of stuff around mindset, and we always have done. And I would say we both have that entrepreneurial spirit in us. And we both are quite different on this, but I'm a real kind of law of attraction person, and I always believe, I always trust. So yeah, and I also think we've had conversations before where, particularly when we were doing our 5-year plan this week, if that doesn't happen, it's okay. However, failure and those types of words are just not part of what my daily life is at all.
Yeah, when we first launched, I shared something on Facebook about what we were doing, and one of my ex sort of like corporate colleagues posted something like, good luck, you're really brave to be doing it now. And I thought, but I don't feel brave for that. I just think it's something we want to do. We're going to give it our absolute all, and I know if we do that, it will work.
Yeah. It's like anything. It's the effort you put in is what you get out, isn't it?
Yeah. We're really passionate about what we do, and one of the first things we looked at when we were looking at our company was to do with our candidates. And we always say everybody has the right to enjoy what they do when they're at work. Nobody should have that Sunday night feeling of dread, and if you've got that, you need to get on the phone to us straight away.
You work like that about your work. You spend too many hours there to be feeling like that.
Yeah, you do. You do.
And lots of people do. It's surprising how many people in businesses, in work, feel like that, isn't it? Who are employed in the corporate world feel like that. It's a dread for a Monday morning. It shouldn't be, should it?
Absolutely not.
Life's too short.
Definitely.
Life's too short, isn't it? I know you've only been into sort of like your business sort of like started like 3 months ago, in effect. Without naming names or anything, what's the sort of like the biggest high that you've had where you thought, wow, that's brilliant? Have you had any like high five moments where something's gone really well, you've landed a really good contract? What's been a big high for you over the last 3 months?
We've had quite a lot, actually. And I guess it would go back to the very beginning when we started doing this project for this particular company, who were very particular about a certain thing that every candidate had to have. And there were lots of different roles in this company, from sales support to accountancy roles, business support, warehouse, drivers. And this particular thing that they wanted, the person who worked in accounts had to have it, and the drivers had to have it. And it was that point of, when we think back to August, September last year, when, drivers were being offered the most ridiculous amounts of money to go and join a company. And we filled those roles. And we were really, really proud when people said, you'll never find any drivers. Well, yes, we did. And I guess from what, going on from what we were saying before about how we work and our mindset, we never think, oh, we'll never fill that. That's an impossible. We will do what we need to do to sort that client, but make it right for the candidate as well. It has to be, they have to, we want to place people into roles with companies that we would want to work for.
Yeah.
And that's quite we have our own values and what we want to do within our business as well, but we want to make sure they're the right companies for the candidates to be placed into, and we want them to stay, and we want them to have career progression in those roles. We don't want to place somebody in something that they're going to not be happy in 6 months' time and leave.
Yeah.
So
you've always got a bit of duty of care, haven't you?
Definitely.
To ensure that, really.
So the high fives certainly from us so far have been, we've placed some amazing people into some really amazing roles, and for us that's job done.
Yeah.
Everybody's happy.
It's a nice ethos as well. I like the fact that you said then you place people in businesses that you'd like, in companies you'd like to work for. That means you're looking after the individual as well. You're not just looking after the company who you're trying to find the employee for, but you're looking after them as well. I like that.
Absolutely. And there's been companies that we have chosen not to work with so far, which I know, some people might think that's crazy when you're in a startup business, but actually it's something that's really important to us. And we were accredited a while ago with the Good Business Charter, and we looked at the values that we had to have in our company to be accredited by them, and they're just wonderful, and it's a great organisation, and there's lots of things that are important to us, and it has to be the clients that we work for, they have to mirror those too.
So if you had any advice to give to someone who would be thinking of going into business with a partner, what would it be?
Just do it.
Absolutely.
Just do it. With Nike, just do it.
Crack on, get on with it. There's not, you just have to have some courage. It's not about being brave. It's about having the courage to do it.
It's taking the first step, I think, isn't it?
That's two different things, isn't it? Courage as opposed to being brave.
Yeah.
And I think we're very good at talking ourselves out of things, aren't we? And like we were saying, we'll do it in April, and before you know it, like 3 years might have gone by.
Yeah.
And then you look back and you think, oh, I should have done that. But just do it.
And what do you think allows you both to work so well together? Because obviously you do. Is it because you've known each other for a long time? You've got a good friendship. What is it that allows you to work so well?
I think
together?
both of those things. We're very honest people, and we're really good friends. So it just gives us that flexibility to work in a way that works for both of us.
And I think, like a lot of people, we've had challenges throughout our lives. And I think Kate and I have both had challenges in different ways, and certainly over the last few years, we've very much supported each other through those times as well. And I think that strengthens any friendship that you have. And knowing how we both, worked individually, was very clear that we could work well together. Both got a very wicked sense of humour.
That's important though, isn't it? You've got to have a bit of fun.
It is,
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yes,
yeah,
if,
no, you can't. We have a good sense. We're all right. We have a good sense of humour, don't we? Yeah.
He's always trying to make me laugh.
Yeah, I just have to be there.
Yeah, that's it. If people do want to get in touch with you, ladies, what is the best way that they can do that?
So we're on all the social media platforms, and we love to get a bit of love on there. So we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on Twitter, Facebook. So if you put in Blonde Brown, we will come up. But our website is www.blondebrown.co.uk.
I mean, it's obvious why you're called Blonde Brown.
But we should say that to the listeners.
Well, yes, we can see why it's obvious, obviously, because one of you is blonde and one of you is brown.
You know what? I'm now stuck with the brown hair colour, aren't I? I was like, well, I don't want to be blonde. We're going to change the name to Blonde and Blonde.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Why did you choose that as a name, though, as opposed to?
To be fair, Charlotte came up with the name, and it just
you know what? We went through a few kind of ideas, and you know, no disrespect to any other agency, you know what? There's quite a lot of dull ones out there.
Yeah,
and we are different, and we want to be different, and how we work and everything. And and it's really funny because we've had so many comments so far about the name and about our branding. Perfect. That's, you know, we want people to remember us.
Yeah, you stand out.
And we will, by the way, put your details in the show notes. So if people didn't quite catch that, we'll put all your information in the show notes so people can get in and look at them as well.
Yeah. Yes, I think that's.
Any more questions?
No, I think that's about it.
Thank you for that. It's been really interesting and good to get to know you a bit better.
Yeah, it's been lovely talking to you. So thank you very much for joining us today. And we wish you all the best in your newfound business, because, you know,
what we'll have to do, we'll have to interview you again in a year's time.
Yeah.
And we can check and see how you're going. How's that?
Definitely.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
So, all the best, and thank you very much for joining us today.
It's been great to see you, and thank you for your time.
Take care.
So we now come to the knowledge share for our podcast for this week. So, Tracy, what is the knowledge share for this week?
Well, Ian, we got a really good one this week. It was one we discovered a little while ago. Basically, it helps you to choose the fonts for your creative projects. So if you're working on, I don't know, Canva or whatever, and you want to see what a word looks like in different fonts so you can choose the style better, you just key in the word into the website and it brings up loads and loads and loads of different styles of fonts in that word. So you can see what they all look like and make a better choice.
Thank you for that, Tracy. That was interesting. Yeah, we'll put that in the show notes as well so people can try it out. Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Well, we're almost at the end of this week's show, but before we go, we'd like to invite you along to one of our online networking events where you can meet some great business owners. The link will be in the show notes.
Thank you so much for joining us this week on In Business Talks 2. We hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, all that we ask is that you simply tell a friend about the show, and please follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. We'd really appreciate it.
Before we go, we'd also like to mention 3 books that we've got out there that you can buy on Amazon. The first one is our latest one called Notably Networking. Ideal for keeping all those one-to-one follow-up meetings that you have from any networking events that you attend. Some information in there and spaces to write lots of notes as well, so really useful. We've also got our 52 tips to help you improve your networking skills. Again, a little book packed with 52 tips and ideas, what you might think about when you're networking.
And lastly, we have our 90 Days to Your Success Journal, which is a little book where you can set all your goals and log the actions that you need to achieve those goals in 90 days. And they're all available on Amazon. So until next time, this is Ian and Tracy, and together we are in business. Goodbye.
Goodbye.